Yeah. A lot of words. A whole lot of words. I know I said a lot of words Sunday.
Yeah. Tell the truth. This how everybody feeling right now. That's Cowboy fans. Everybody got that look.
You had Jesse drinking. You had Jesse
Hold on, no. Hey, hold on. We had Jesse.
drinking it.
We had that look.
We had that look? Oh my
Say,
God. That's a bad deal.
Oh, that's really Kellen Moore. We gonna talk about that.
Oh my God. That's how we was looking.
That's how Cowboy fans feeling
That's
right
how
now.
it was. They was getting us too, boy. They was getting us.
Ooh, yeah. Shout out to the Cowboy world that been defending the star.
Oh
I know this been a hard week. Hey, but we finna talk about it and we finna get back on.
Let's hope. Let's hope.
Hey, and Big so mad. Big say we not doing no intros, no nothing. You sure we not doing no intros, bro?
We ain't doing that music, dog. We gonna do that. Yeah. We gonna do that. We ain't listening.
We not doing it.
We're not happy. We ain't singing and jumping for joy.
Oh, so listen, we can't do this.
We just do that. We need some of that right now.
We need some milk, Law. With a button.
You got it up there.
Just stop doing
He needs
that.
some milk.
So,
I hear that snap drum. I think that lady sounds like
oh man. Listen, we can jump right into the show right now. We ain't gotta wait. Let's go, bro. We finna get right into it, man. My boy Law say no. I mean, Big say no intro, no nothing. We are not finna do no intro today because my boy Big is hot. He hot at the world, man. Forget the intro. Let's go. We right into the show. Let's get it. All right, man. We always generally kick it off with my boy Big Game James. We gonna do it a little bit different today. I want to set up the whole first part of this whole conversation. All right.
Yoga fire. Yoga flame.
All right. We gonna talk about today what I really feel like the world is talking about. Okay. And it is Kellen Moore. I'm gonna turn down this music. All right. See, cause I showed the display,
right.
and I really do feel like it's some things that Kellen Moore been talking about that's coming out like this. Like where it got an intention, like the whole design is to be sexy, but it's not. You intended it to work, but it's not. I know what you was thinking. I know what you had in mind, but it's not working. So we go kind of play some statements. I'm gonna go all the way through this.
Right.
And let's talk about it. Here we go. Let's start first. This is his press conference talking about Amari Cooper. So I'm going to build this all the way up. Y'all listen.
Amari, talking to us last week, expressed some frustration, just wanting to get the ball. Obviously, they all want the ball. Was there a concerted effort on your part to give him more opportunities than in previous games, or that's just the way it went?
I think certainly it's the way it went. Obviously, we love getting the ball to Amari as much as we can. Felt like there were some great opportunities in this particular game. Amari did a great job of, especially early in the game, just being available, being open, doing a great job of getting his depth on particular routes. And so I felt like we did a great job of getting in a rhythm there. And, I think you always have to be careful of trying to narrow the focus for the quarterback into one particular guy. We feel fortunate to have
Hold on. See, I'm not going to let him go past that. Because he said we don't want to be in the habit of trying to force it to one particular guy. That's a philosophy, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm listening to his philosophy. I'm listening. I'm like, okay, I hear what you're saying. But then I looked around the league, okay? And as I look around the league, other teams are not doing what he said you're not supposed to do. Right? So, because he quoted, we have to be careful not to narrow the focus to one guy. So then if you look at the targets around the league, you see Adams with 162. You see Keenan Allen with 149. You see Cooper Kupp with 184. You see T. Hill with 156 with the Kansas City Chiefs. Diggs, Stephon, 151. Our number one, only at 96. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let y'all get on into that real quick. Let's talk about that philosophy if y'all don't mind. I want to get y'all thoughts on it.
No doubt. You still got that black box down at the bottom.
Thank you, big dog. You know, Law go catch them details, man.
Yeah,
detail oriented. Thank you, sir. My boy Is. He catch the details.
Law of average, though. Law of average. I know you.
Yes. Go, Law. Oh, go. I already know where you going. Go, Law.
You can't get the number without shooting at it.
Oh!
It's called law of average for a reason.
Yoga fire. Yoga
average
flame.
in a bad way, Cowboy Nation. But from an econ way, you know, law of average. You expecting to get the certain results, but you are not trying to do such. And when you look at Adams, I love his skill set from the Green Bay Packers. You know, I love his skill set. Nuanced route runner. But they make it their business to say, all right, cool. We're going to make sure that he will be the person to get the ball. They line him inside. They line him outside. And I know it's a different caliber of quarterback there, I say. But it's the law of average. I looked at the box score and I look at the box information before halftime. This brother done already had 11 targets. Cooper has 7 to 8 targets a game.
Jamar Chase had 11 receptions this past Sunday off of 12 targets. He had 266 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, Amari Cooper is the third most targeted wide receiver on the Cowboys behind CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz. All of them have more than 100 targets. All of them. Now, Amari Cooper has the most touchdowns. He has the least amount of targets out of him, Schultz. He's the third one. Below him is Michael Gallup, who unfortunately is now injured. So this philosophy of spread the ball around and don't feature your best route runner on the team is a bunch of nonsense. It doesn't make sense for what the Cowboys need and what is going to get the offense going at a steady pace. And I got to give Amari Cooper his credit because I have not adequately given this man his credit. But now I see. My eyes are open. This man deserves his credit. This man deserves the football. This man is always open. And I've been watching tape the past 2 days, and when I tell you this boy's always open,
he's always open.
This boy is always getting open. He's always winning on routes.
Can I segue, he Boss wins, Cowboy?
Of course.
When you get a chance.
Yeah, hold on. The OC almost finished. He almost finished, OC. I mean, Law, he almost finished.
You get a chance. You just look up efficiency rate. I think Boss Cowboy know the efficiency rate. Can you just give out the term or the definition of the efficiency rate or ratio? That's so that people can understand that if he have less targets but more touchdowns, that means that his efficiency rate is higher than the other players. We can just go to the econ talk, but I know you know it as well, Boss.
No.
Can you go get the definition?
Go ahead, OC. Go ahead. You explained it. You killed it.
No, you listen. You killed it, Law. But I'm gonna say, man, and just to quantify for everybody, Amari Cooper has had 97 targets. Dalton Schultz has had 101 targets. Okay, Dalton Schultz. CeeDee Lamb has had 118 targets. Dalton Schultz and CeeDee Lamb only have 6 touchdowns. Amari Cooper has 8 touchdowns.
Oh my
with less
God.
targets. And equal averages, almost equal to Amari Cooper, like less than, not Amari Cooper, excuse me, CeeDee Lamb, about a yard less per average. So what I'm saying is that, man, this is bad decision making. And I'm not trying to come down too, and I'll say why later in the show, but this is bad decision making coming out of a bad philosophy. It's a bad philosophy. And it's not proven in the NFL. One receivers are one receivers in the NFL. I'll start right there.
Big, I know you got something to say, dog. Come on now. Big, I know you got something.
I'm just letting y'all talk.
Okay.
I was being gracious and
I'm waiting on you, dog. I'm waiting to see what the homie got to say. Because I ain't talked to you all week. This is my first time getting ready to hear your thoughts.
Well, basically, all three of you guys are hitting the nail on the head, obviously. But this is the few things I kind of see on it. It's Linehan-ish. It's Garrett-ish. Because number one, when Kellen Moore came over with, who brought him here?
God, dog.
So it's not like he had Bill Parcells or somebody else mentoring him. It was Scott Linehan mentoring him. He was at Detroit with Scott Linehan. He was quarterback. He did all that stuff with Scott Linehan. And Scott Linehan said, I'm going to Dallas, and who came with him? Kellen Moore. So there can't be any other philosophy that Kellen Moore knows besides that Linehan-ish philosophy. And who was the guy that was his head coach? And I'm not putting the blame, but Garrett was his head coach.
That's what it is. That's his truth.
And then when I see certain things in the game, as in when we play Washington's and the Giants, we bombs away and we attacking, going all out. Then whenever we get some defensive team or this team might give us some problems or a playoff team, I feel like it gets to the vest. Let's just win this game, because I heard Kellen Moore say it. I heard him say it in an interview when they were like, what's going on with the offense? Y'all in a little slump. He said, we're just trying to win the game. I didn't like hearing that. Yeah. Because I feel like when you say we're just trying to win the game, that means when you play them tough teams, you don't get bold. You don't challenge
like that.
Because you just want to get the win. And if you're just trying to get the win, that means you coach a little scared, because you were going to go to plays that we feel like we automatically can get this. We're not going to go outside the box, because we just need to win the game. And I feel like that mentality at times causes you to lose games, as we just saw. In my opinion, I don't know about y'all, but I made a thing before the game started on my feed. This feels like that fluky, funny game. And I felt the reason why I felt this game, I felt on the offensive side. I didn't feel it on the defensive side. I felt it on the offensive side, and it rang true. Now, I don't know how long we're going to talk about Kellen. We want to talk about some other things, because OC said, Amari Cooper, about the targets. Boss, you said it. Law, you said it. You said about the targets. That is 100% correct. But there were a couple plays that Amari Cooper, you said he's always open, and he is. But there was a couple plays Amari Cooper had first down opportunities, but the ball didn't get there. And that's what we need to talk about.
We're going to talk about that. We'll talk about that next.
Down that road.
No, we're going to go down that road, because it's an honest road. This is a test of truth, and I know we all go past. Straight up.
Right.
This going to be an easy test. We just go tell the truth on what happened with our quarterback. But before we go there, it's just the truth, and nobody afraid of that. This is the sad part to me. Everybody saw the list that was posted with the top guys. All the top guys on the left. And you can see lineups is what's going to give you the information on the targets. I suggest people go there and double check this for yourself.
Right.
One of the things that's sad when you see Amari Cooper with only 96 targets, if you keep scrolling down, even Terry McLaurin has 124 targets. Even like Allen Robinson, CeeDee Lamb got more targets. Brandon Cooks got 130 targets. Deontay Johnson got 159 targets. DK Metcalf got 118 targets. But Kellen Moore would sit up there and say,
how many game plays?
Boss. Before you finish that, I want you to finish that. I want to bounce off that, but I want to say one quick thing.
Yeah.
You remember when you talked about Amari Cooper voiced his opinion
Yes.
and said, I need the ball more.
Right.
Remember when he did it with Linehan?
Oh, yes, I do.
Do we remember when he did it with Linehan and
he got in the doghouse for that?
Is he getting froze out?
Yes, bro.
Froze out, whatever.
See, that's why I don't think we should rush off this target, big dog. Because
so now
I remember.
And so now he speaks up again. And now you hear Kellen Moore say, we ain't trying to force it to no one receiver.
Okay.
I'm just saying, maybe it could correlate. I don't know, but maybe it could correlate.
Well,
this smells like, and I'm sorry, Boss Cowboy, and I'll give it right back to you. But
no,
this
take your
smells
sweet time. I don't want to rush this. This is the topic of the day.
This smells to me, Boss Cowboy, a little bit of friendship and kinship-ish. Right? It smells a little bit like CeeDee Lamb is the favorite. We gonna make sure you got the talent, you the young guy. I'm gonna help you get off. We got a better rapport. We gonna make sure you get the rock in multiple positions. Wow, we undervalue CeeDee Lamb. Excuse me, Amari Cooper. While we undervalue him, and now we can't overvalue CeeDee Lamb, although he's called for over 1,000 yards. He's had a great year. We can't overvalue him because of his recent play and inconsistencies in catching the football. So now,
OC, I promise you, I'm gonna come right back to that. You already ahead of me. I promise you, that's on the menu. I promise you, that's coming up. I promise you, it's already in the queue. I promise you, we gonna come right back to that thought. That's the real thought. Let me piggyback on Big Game James because I want us to slowly walk through this if we don't mind. Because to me, this is the topic of the playoffs. Y'all feel me? Like if we gotta get this right, if we don't get this right, we could be facing some one and done type stuff. So
exactly.
I want us to really, really kind of take our time. Don't feel no rush from nobody, right? And let's just walk through this. I'm going to go back to what my boy Big Game James was talking about. Oh, hit the wrong button.
But you can subscribe, though.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead and subscribe.
That's can subscribe, man.
That's the button I wanted right there. All right.
Yeah.
So this is what my boy was talking about. Big Game James. When Amari Cooper he spoke out on Scott Linehan, right? And he said, I was like, this is ridiculous. Now, remember, this was the Philly game, okay? And this is also the game. I'm going to tell y'all, I know this for a fact. This was the game that also, keeping it real, that Dak, Amari, and Zeke all had the best game as a triplet in our franchise history.
Right.
But Cooper was still frustrated because the play calling was bad. Okay. And if y'all remember, Philly was sitting on those routes.
Right.
And Scott Linehan kept calling stop routes because he was methodically trying to walk down the field. So this was around the fourth quarter and he just got fed up with it. Now, keep in mind, this is with him already having an epic game. So this had nothing to do with being a diva. This was about wanting to win. And he said it was like, this is ridiculous. So when I broke the hood, I was kind of mad and I was like, Dak, come on. And he was just like, run it, bro. We got to talk about that run it, bro, a little bit. When we talk about Dak, we got to talk about that mentality for him to kind of want to get along. And then he said, and I guess he thought about it again and kind of signaled a go route. And I was elated when he did that. And I took off, caught the ball and scored. Going back to Big Game James' point. I looked up the targets after that comment. He was at 90% when he had that epic game, big game, James, in terms of his snaps on the field. The next week, it went down to 70%. The week after that, it went down to 60%. So you asked the question, could they be being petty, is what you're basically saying.
Well, this is what I say to that, but too, boss. Now let's keep it real.
Right.
Amari Cooper was out with the COVID, remember?
Yep.
Right.
And remember how the front office and other people were talking that they were frustrated with that.
Yes.
And people were talking in the building how they were frustrated with Amari Cooper with that. Because we're trying to be a team and everybody needs to be on board and you're not, and that happens. And I've been hearing already that people were frustrated in the building with Amari Cooper with that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
To OC's point, where I feel like when I watch this team this year, it does feel like they try to go to CD Lamb. I mean,
yes,
it's just the truth.
But we're going to come back to that. We're going to come.
Okay, I'll be quiet.
Because trust me, it's coming. That's a big topic because I want us to slowly walk through that one too. Because I want to show the second part of what he said as we build and talk about this whole play calling thing. Y'all check this out. This is the second part. I want to tell me if y'all observe something.
That's a definite positive.
As a quarterback in college and pros, I'm sure guys always come to you saying, I need the ball, I need the ball. How do you handle that now as a coordinator when guys say, hey, I think this works for me right now?
No, I get it. I think the biggest thing is we just talk through the process. I think Amari's great. You know, we love that all of our guys want the football. That's the most important aspect. We want guys who want the football. And so as the week goes, we have a great week of practice. We make sure we spend the time together on the practice field. I thought that's an important part of this thing. When guys practice really well during the week, usually things come out the same way on Sundays. And so I think our whole offense does a great job of just working together. You're going to go through bumps and different changes throughout the season, and you got to navigate those things, and I think our guys have done a nice job with that.
Oh, okay. Thoughts?
I smell some shade.
Oh man, shade.
I smell it.
Shade.
I smell it. Yeah.
I go.
Because he talked about,
I want to hear this.
You got to practice well. He using that as an excuse, man. You got to practice well and get the practice reps together. We know that Amari Cooper has had some soft tissue injuries. Nobody gives a crap about that in most organizations. They care about you being ready on game day. This ain't college. This is paid multi-million-dollar professional contracts. We care what you do on Sunday. Of course we want you at practice, but we're not going to hold that against you and use that as an opt-out clause not to incorporate you or give you the football when you're truly the number one receiver because you have some soft tissue or some lingering issues or COVID. That's a bunch of nonsense. I smell shade. I smell it.
Well,
I smell it.
I'm going to tell y'all what I sensed in that. Because first of all, they asked about Amari, and then his responses are, we had a good week of practice, and when the guys come together, it's system talk. It's system talk. It's exactly why we seeing basically receiver by committee. This is the philosophy. This is why I start laughing when Big Game James said Scott Linehan-ish and Garrett-ish. Because he's saying it to our face. I don't value him as a number one. I look at him as just a guy.
A jag, yo.
Yeah, he got to adapt to our system. We not go intentionally target him. That's what he's saying. That's what I'm hearing from it.
That's what I'm getting too.
So I'm gonna go to the next thing that I see real quick, and then we could talk about what y'all was talking about real quick. The good thing that I feel like I see that I'm excited to see is it looked like as a community, we on the right page on this, which gives me hope. Okay. So like Jesse Holly, he came out, he said Cowboys homework assignment. Kellen, Dak, and Cooper should order pizza and sit down together and watch Matt LaFleur, Aaron, and how they get the ball to Adams purposefully, intentionally. And then, Law, me and you was having a conversation with him. I'm going to show that conversation. I'm going to show everything that's going on. And how the nation is coming together on this. This is what's giving me hope, because I do think the nation is calling out Kellen, and we specific on what I feel like we seeing. Y'all check out this conversation about with Law, Jesse, and myself having this conversation about targeting your best guys. Check this out.
Yeah, right. You get on the road and you complicate stuff, and you want to try to pull cute stuff out. Don't complicate it, because that red zone is so tight. Right. It's so you don't have time for all that stuff to develop. Just go with what you know. Right. And like Amari said, try finding the best player on your football team to go to.
I'm out of here, man. I'm gone, man.
It's little stuff like me. Like this. You don't have to make this thing. You know, giving you direction and techniques to put to put the table together. It's find those guys.
Do them like the pastor. Service water.
No, but it's
table got 4 legs. You put one leg on at a time. He trying to reinvent it.
He trying to do stuff, and you like, man, spinning guy like, why is he in the game? Hey, how about throwing the ball to him? Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just get a ball to him. Yeah.
So you can see the word is out. It's a whole lot of people who we don't talk to each other a lot, but when we saying the same things. And I'm just kind of, this is why I'm hopeful, because I really do believe that our voice matter, right? And I'm just looking around and I'm seeing all the conversations that's going on. Skywalker, us, Big, Law, OC, Jesse. I'm starting to finally see the fan talk about it. Finally, people are starting to really catch up. This is Scott Linehan Part 2.
Big facts.
So now I'm going to talk about what y'all was talking about. Because I feel both of you, Big Game James and Big, in the OC, because this is what I tweeted today. I say Cooper will be attacked by the Dallas local media this offseason, but the real problem is he was always under targeted, which is going to the conspiracy y'all was talking about, to where you intentionally under target him because you likely want to take away his value, right? And start feeding the new 88.
Facts, bro, and it ain't no conspiracy theory. We can pull up the numbers and see the targets. You also look at the game film and you see the variety of ways that CeeDee Lamb gets to football. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. He's a great, explosive young player. No doubt about it, man. We see him getting jet sweeps. We see him moving in the slot. We see him playing the X. We see him playing the wide receiver. We see him moving all over the field consistently. We see plays drawn up for him. We see screens to him. We see flares to him, right? You don't see that with Amari Cooper. You see 2 routes. You see corner routes. You see some goals. You see some comebacks. You see an occasional fade, right? So you don't see the creativity in terms of the plays that are called as it relates to Amari Cooper. And listen, no shade on CeeDee Lamb. He's a fantastic player. He deserves all the opportunities he's getting. But I'm bringing out the point of the intentionality with one player and the lack of intentionality with another player. So you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. You know, we used to call that talking out the side of your neck. Law Nation know what I'm talking about on that. So I'm saying, man, look, it's one thing or the other. You can't talk about the system and fit into our system and then you so creative with 1 or 2 players that you want to feed the football to. You know what I'm saying? That's nonsense.
Yeah, it is. It's straight up nonsense. So I think the writing on the wall on what they trying to do, man. Just to be all the way honest, somebody said this looked like the dead situation. I agree with a super chat. I feel like this is the dead situation. But at the same time, I'm going to go away from this now. We're going to move on to the next topics because Big Game James, you had some fire stuff on your Twitter. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start. Like, this boy, I don't know. Should I talk about the Kelvin Josephs, or should we stay on the offense, big dog, and talk about what you was talking about? So let's see. If 5 losses for the Cowboys this year, Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard averaged a combined 15 attempts per game. Not going over 20 attempts in any of those games. In the 11 Dallas wins, the average a combined 26 attempts with only 1 under 20 attempts, and that was against. Bro, can you please elaborate on that?
Well, that was my guy, and shout out to my guy, Professor O. That was even the last one. Everything was correct except that last Washington game, because they even went over 20 carries in that game. So that was 2 times they went over 20 carries when they won both of those games. That is crazy to me, number one, in losses, that you got 2 backs averaging 15 carries between the both of them, and then you can't even get over 20 carries in those losses. And even in this game against the Cardinals, Dallas was not so far out of that game where you had to abandon the run. You know what I'm saying? In that second half, they were not so far out of the game where you could still run the ball. It was almost like when Dallas gets a negative 2 yards, okay, we ain't running now. We're going to throw the ball like 3 or 4 times now. You know what I'm saying? There was second half where, like I said, they had 2 rushes in the second half, 2. Tony Pollard didn't touch the ball running in the second half. Ezekiel Elliott had 2 carries, 1 for a negative yard and 1 for a positive yard. The one he went to the last time they ran the ball, Ezekiel Elliott ran off to Leo Collins' side. Leo Collins whipped on the block. Isaiah Simmons bust through there and stopped him for a negative yard. No more runs after that. We went straight to the pass after that, and it was pass the whole time. So at the end of the day, what do we talk about if you go to the playoffs, right? What are 2 things that you definitely need in the playoffs and that can carry? Your defense, which the defense still played good in that game because it kept Dallas in the game. And then your running game. And you're probably going to get, one home game, right? And you're going to travel. You may travel to Green Bay. It's cold there. They may not be able to throw the ball like that. So what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to run. And you're going to have to run effectively. And I feel like it's not just even the run play calling. It's the line. It's just, I'm going to just say, I think our line, even with when they were averaging those yards rushing, it hasn't been a physical line, because it shows to me sometimes when a team really wants to get physical up front with our offensive line, I don't know if it's me, fellas. It could be just totally me. But when a team sets their mind to get physical up front, it's like our run game gets stopped. There was two plays in the first half. Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. We had 1 yard. It was 2nd and 1. Tony Pollard couldn't get the 1 yard. Zach Martin got his butt kicked both times. Zach Martin. Wasn't nobody else. It was Zach Martin got his butt kicked. The next play on the 3rd and 1, they went to Ezekiel Elliott. He got whooped up the middle, and Ezekiel Elliott got stopped. And on 4th and 1, we had to throw it. So, 3 plays, fellas, for 1 yard. We couldn't get it twice and had to throw it on the 4th. On 1 yard. Yeah. On 3 attempts.
I gotta ask the OC, man. I gotta ask you a question. Now I know this was your segment, Big Game, but the OC, I believe you're the only guy that played offensive line, right? You offensive lineman, right?
Yes, sir.
Now,
yes, sir.
If I had a choice, do offensive linemen love to pass block or run block? But if you look into the gameplay,
and remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Drop it hard. Let's go.
It's time to do.
Let me know, OC. Let me know. Which one you prefer?
We prefer to lean on that defensive line and run block all day long. But Big Game James, Big Game James.
That's real.
You brought out something you brought up so much stuff, Big Game, in that segment that I just got to address a few things, okay? You brought up some awesome points, right? Here's the deal, man. Here's the deal. It's not just the offensive line. We can go back. Now I have a good battery case, right? Now I can look at Tampa Bay. Now I can look at Kansas City. Now I can look at the Cardinals. Now I can look at Denver. Anytime a team comes out with high intensity and gets physical with us as a whole, this year we have not matched. That's offensively and defensively. We haven't matched the physicality, right? But you bring up a greater point in terms of the run attempts, right? Because we know Ezekiel Elliott had been at his best. So Tony Pollard is averaging 5.5 yards per carry, okay? Ezekiel Elliott is averaging 4.2 yards per carry this year, which is still good. That's good. That's almost 2 carries and a first down on an average, right? Pollard averages more than a first down on 2 carries, right? Why abandon the run? What you're doing to your defense, and what we did every time we lose, we have these 3 and outs where we try to pass the ball 2 out of the 3 downs, and we put the defense on the field against an offense that's methodical, that's going to mix up the plays, running past the football, and drive the ball methodically down the field and beat the Cowboys. And that's what's happened in all of our losses, and that is actually the cancer in terms of our play calling decision making that's hurt us the most. Ezekiel Elliott, even with all of his injuries, and bring up this key point, he's on track to have the least amount of carries he's had in his entire career. He has about 217 carries this year, 219, right? He's going to have the least amount of carries he's had in his entire NFL career. So that's not a formula for success, especially going into the playoffs. If you got to go to Green Bay, or you got to go to Kansas City, or you got to go to any one of these teams where these boys can light you up and they can score with 1 or 2 pass plays. That's not a recipe for success. We got to be the line for running football. And furthermore, and I'm sorry to hog the mic, but I'm just mad about this. Why in the Hades is not Terrence Steele somewhere in the run game? Fine, you don't want to start him. Fine. I think you're stupid, but fine. You don't want to start him. Fine. At least bring him in as a tight end. Why in the world do you continue to have our wonderful Dalton Schultz as a primary blocker to the play side of plays, and all he does is get his butt kicked every single time? Every single time. Why don't you at least put in Jeremy Sprinkler and put in Connor McGovern? Don't have him play side getting beat to pieces by an overpowering defensive end, and we get tackles for losses. I hate it. I'm sorry. I got to calm down. Somebody stop me. I'm sorry. Let me quit. Okay.
I'm about stopping you, big dog. Real quick, I did want to feature my homie page. This is Big Game James page. Y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe to Big Game James. This is him right here. Dog. And he got some fire content all day long. I also want to feature my homie Law Nation page because he got some fire content as well. You know, now the thing that I want to highlight and change the discussion on real quick is because we've been talking bad. Let's talk good about some people that could be coming back, right? And we go finish the show talking about solutions. We never want to talk about problems without talking about solutions. So you did a film breakdown and an update on Jarwin. Obviously, we want to hear your thoughts on that, especially because you got a fire video about Jarwin and did the work.
Oh, well, I was looking at Jarwin as a tight end that can vertically stretch the inside of the field when they line him in line. Not saying that Jarwin is a better blocker than Schultz, but I believe that he can leave a better disguise than Schultz, especially when they line him in line. I just think that Jarwin brings that element to the table. He's quicker. Schultz is better underneath, and Schultz is good all around tight end. But it's clearly you can see that Jarwin is that guy that creates that mismatch that can vertically stretch the middle of the field. And a good point was with Jarwin on the field, and of course this could be also with the offensive lineman lineup as well. The Cowboys average north of 130 yards per rush, per game, I meant to say, and it was 4th overall in the NFL in rushing, meaning that you got a tight end that teams got to get out of that light body work, and they have to make that business decision whether or not they're going to keep a extra linebacker in, or they're going to flex that safety to be primarily watching Jarwin. Whereas Schultz, they can take a nickel corner or a linebacker to sit on most of his routes because he's not going to take it vertically. That's what I was able to see out of the film between the two.
Law, I do got a question for you, big dog.
Talk to me.
So with the injury that happened to Gallup, obviously, well, I ain't gonna say obviously. Well, to me, I think the bread and butter of Kellen Moore has always been 11 personnel. Right. But I remember you, Law, Big Game James, especially spent so many times at the training camps. We saw with our own eyes the power at 12. What do you think is going to be the future? And I can pass this to everybody. I just want to hear from you guys on this. What do y'all think the future is going to be with the injury to Gallup and the return of a tight end?
Well, if you're asking me, I was just thinking about that earlier today.
Yeah.
You never want to see an injury, man. I know we all hurting for Gallup. Right. You never want to see injury because he's such a good guy. You know what I'm saying? He works his butt off. But this is what I'm going to say about this. This could be a blessing in disguise for the Cowboys.
Hold on.
When Gallup was healthy.
Yoga fire. Yoga flame.
When Gallup was healthy, right? We were all saying this might be the end of Gallup because Gallup going to want some money. He deserves to get paid. He's a good receiver. And, you know, even with the salary cap raising, you got CD, you still got Amari, you got players stepping up and Malik Turner, you still got Simi Falco, you can draft again, you know what I'm saying? So, and he's going to cost money. So it doesn't sometimes make sense to have that much money tied into one position. So this could have been the end for Gallup. But now Gallup gets hurt. We seen this happen with Barry Church, right? Remember when Barry Church played really good? And he should remember this. And he blew out his knee, right? And I think he was signed. It was supposed to be on his cut, and they signed him to a deal when he was hurt. Now, remember Barry said it wasn't all that, but they stayed with him after the injury and paid him, though. I feel like this could be a situation where Gallup got hurt. They say, we love you, dog. Maybe you're not going to get that big money that right here, but the injury, but we'll give you maybe a 2-year nice little something, and then you get better, and then maybe that money comes. So you assign him to a small deal and then go from there, because I don't know who's going to take the chance on a Gallup with a torn ACL in week 16. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like there's going to be a loyalty thing, and that's why I can see now a Gallup coming back on a shorter deal because of that injury.
I totally agree with that. Man, hold up. And I got a question for everybody real quick. I just got to be all the way honest, because you brought up Michael Gallup. We talked about some stuff. But
hey, I love being a Cowboy.
Big Game James.
Game changer.
Let's have some fun. Let's have a good time, man. Let's kick it.
I got to do this, man. It's time to, because I got a couple of more things I want to talk about.
All right.
Come on now. OC, it's fully time to surrender. Because Big Game James already kept it real last week. He ain't got to say it. He already the OG for keeping it real on the Game Changer. So we really just waiting on you, OC.
Man.
Don't play,
look,
OC. Don't play yourself.
Look,
Remember, you represent Boss Cowboy Sports. You can't be on no bias.
Listen. I am the other antithesis of Boss Cowboy Sports. That is true. And so, listen, man. I'm gonna tell you this, man.
Please don't mess this up, bro.
Listen, man. Hold on, man. Just be patient. Patience, okay? Patience. So look, man. Okay, if you start doing that, I'm not saying nothing. If you start doing that,
I'm done, bro. I'm done.
All right, no, man. Look, man, the eye in the sky don't lie, man. And the production over several games, man, you can't deny that Amari Cooper will be the game changer, man. He is, man. He's the heartbeat of this wide receiver core, man. I still think CeeDee Lamb has fantastic upside, but in terms of consistency and what we need, man, he's the clear cut number one. He's the clear cut boss, man. Straight up. So can't deny that, man. The facts are too overwhelming at this point. So it is what it is, man. We need Amari Cooper.
All right. We got it out of our boy.
But I want to flip it though. I want to flip it on Boss Cowboy and Big Game James.
All right, let's go.
Me and the OC, we've been waiting. Is this a Super Bowl caliber defense?
Oh, you gonna do that?
Yes, sir.
Me and the OC.
Let me jump in there first. I
knew I should have had this ready.
Yeah, let me jump on in that. So yes, this game has not definitely changed that. If anything, it's reaffirmed it. If anything, it has reaffirmed it to me. This is a championship defense. You know why? Because the offense didn't do what it was supposed to do, and who kept us in the game? Who kept the Dallas Cowboys in the game once again? Yeah, there was some plays given up, but how many? Do you remember when they drove all the way down the field and they was on the 5-yard line? Stopped them. They didn't score a touchdown. They had to kick a field goal. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? And they didn't have a whole day. We only had 1 sack. But in that second half, Michael Parsons was starting to get a lot of that pressure in that second half against Kyler Murray. You started seeing it. You started seeing that pressure. So to me, and even if we watch this whole game, fellas, I'm gonna just say this: if we watch this whole game, right, we saw a lot of bad 10 penalties. Right? Mm-hmm. Dak was the leading rusher with 20 yards. Your running backs had a combined 12 carries. The second half, only 2. Missed passes. There were passes missed. There were some balls dropped. Plays given up on touchdowns. And even after all that, you still had the opportunity to win at the end of the game. That's why I don't feel crazy, because after all that badness, you still could have won at the end of the game. So that tells me you're better than the Cardinals. Get yourself together, put yourself together offense, and you're going to be okay. Because this defense, in my opinion, just showed you once again, if you handle your business offense, ain't nobody going to stop this team.
Big game. I like you.
Rebuttal, the OC.
I like you. Big game. I like you, okay? Big game. I respect you. Boss Cowboy, I like you, Boss Cowboy. You my dog. You my partner. You my ace. I respect you, okay? I respect both of you guys. But I'm going to tell you something. No. I'm going to tell you something. No. I'm going to tell you something. Because Super Bowl defenses get key stops, bro. At the end of the game, we had a kneel down, bro. We had a kneel down. That means they rushed for 2 or 3 third downs when we needed to stop, when we could have got the ball back to at least tie the game. That's not championship defense, okay? I'm sorry, it is not. Okay, the OC and Boss Cup, I made a video telling you the plays you had to stop. Please don't give this kid Murphy the edge. Don't give him the edge. Don't do it. Please don't give him the edge. Please don't give him the edge.
Man, if you
OC though.
Get him big. Get him big.
That's not what he did, OC. That's not what he did.
Talk to him big.
That's not what he did. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
We gave up the edge. We gave up the edge for critical.
Are you serious? You can't be serious.
You had 2 plays where Kyler Murray, they were designed runs. So to me, you gotta play that. You gotta do a play calling. It's not just you gotta identify that as a play call, because they did 2 straight runs where as soon as Kyler Murray got it, he went straight up the middle. He didn't go on them edges. He faked it and went straight up the middle, and he got them big yardage.
On the option Big Game James, we had an option pitch. All right, to Edmund, we gave up the edge. Okay, we had a QB keep going left. Okay, in the fourth quarter, we gave up the edge in first downs in those critical situations. Big, it was the edge. It was not a run up the middle. It was the edge on both of those plays, and we gave up the edge again on a chunk on a critical 2nd and I believe 5 to number 2 admin, he got around the edge. And what the OC been saying is that the Achilles heel so far in terms of the run game is that we have to play contained defense better. But I understand, Big, why it's an issue, because we're thin at linebacker, and the only guy that can really run east and west from a linebacker position that's fast enough to get there is Micah Parsons. So if you run opposite of Micah Parsons and you have a tight end to seal one of our defensive ends, you got a chance to get that edge. That's the whole issue here. That's the issue. And so we have to correct that, because it don't matter what we say, Big, Law, Boss Cowboy, teams are going to attack that if we don't correct that and show that we're going to stop the outside run, man. I'm just telling you.
All right.
Telling you.
Because Law asked me too.
Let me ask you one, can I
Go
ask
ahead.
one question, though?
Go ahead, Big.
When Dak fumbled the ball on that play, what was the score?
You tell me.
Yeah, me looking back.
I don't know. I'm being serious.
I think they scored what, 3 points off of that, right? So they had what?
So what was
22?
the score when we were
had 22
ready to drive? They had 22.
Yep.
And what did Dallas have? Do we have 14?
14.
And that's when we fumbled.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly.
I
Because
think that's what it was.
After that fumble, he went down there and scored a touchdown. So
Right.
yeah.
I want to
My
talk
thing
about
is,
something,
we had
though,
14.
to defend
Go ahead, boss.
the Super Bowl D. This is why I say them guys are Super Bowl D. Because I hear your case all day, OC, about discipline and edges. But as a defensive guy, and most of the guys on here was defensive guys, we also know edges is a lot of times about discipline. And that's something that's correctable, bro. Like, so.
But
yeah, but like, what time did we let somebody get outside the edge that just cost us in points? Now, if you grade that hard to where, yes, they convert occasionally from getting on the edge. Yes, they do. But if that's your critique, I still think talent-wise, effort-wise, playmaking-wise, this is a Super Bowl D. Especially because we all know Tank got that ball out at the end.
Look, man.
That was a fumble. Hold on. That was a fumble. If we would have had the timeout, defense would have put our offense back on the field again. True or false? In a clutch moment.
Say it, OC.
True or false?
Listen. We can go through true or false, but true or false.
He didn't answer the question.
You just say true or false.
True or false? Yes or no question.
I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to answer your question with a question, okay?
No, you can't do that.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
No, you can't do that, bro.
Why are you setting the ground? So you setting the ground rules?
Yes.
Look,
True or
because
false?
you said it wasn't a champion. He's telling you it was. You saying it's not a Super Bowl D. You saying it's not a championship D yet, and it's got to get the team off the field.
Right.
But yes, nobody's crying Bill about the referees and the.
Nah, we ain't talked about that at all.
That was a fumble. We're not crying about the rest. But did they make the play? Did they make the play if they called it correctly? Because we saw what it was. You saw it was too. That means Dallas made a defensive big play,
right,
to get the ball back for the opportunity of the offense to score. So the defense did do what it's supposed to do and came through like a championship defense did, right? Just didn't get the call, correct?
Correct.
What I'm telling
Sound right
you
to me.
is what you're saying is correct, that they made a big play that didn't get the call. But however, there were a couple more opportunities to stop Arizona from converting first downs that we did not stop Arizona from converting first downs. Is that correct?
Okay.
On the front end.
Yeah, that's correct. But see, this is the problem with your case. The major problem with your case is you said a couple of times. Are you really over here grading a Super Bowl D by a couple of times, bro? Is that what we doing?
No.
Is that what we doing today? You said a couple of times. What did you or did you not say a couple of times?
I'm grading on critical times, which were a couple of times in the fourth quarter when they got the ball, when we could have got a stop and got the ball back.
I ain't dealing with your grades, bro. I ain't dealing with your grades. I'm going to go back to Law. Law, I'm going to ask you a question, Law, because Law started this with that fire question. I'm done with you, OC. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I'm going back to the OG Law. Law, I got a question for you, big dog.
Right.
Now, me and you, we just had some, good times with George Teague and Mr. 4th and 1, Jesse Holly.
Don't butter him up.
No, no, man, come, Brian got listen, man, load the homie. I ain't got to butt up the homie. This is just real, cause he know where I'm going with this. Cause he know we asked both of them. What did they say, Law?
He said yes.
What?
I can tell you one thing.
What?
I can tell you one thing.
Hold on. What?
I can tell you one thing.
I don't care what they said.
He said, I don't care what they said. But
yeah, right. Right.
George's gonna be on my show tomorrow. George's gonna be on.
Ask him that one. Ask him that one, Big.
I am, because me and George Teague already talked about this before the even season started. Me and George Teague talked on my show, and we both said the reason why this Dallas defense ain't going nowhere because it needs dogs.
Right.
It needs dogs. That's what we both said, and that's what Teague he said ain't had no dogs like we had back then. They need some dogs. And if he's sitting there saying, yeah, I feel this is a team, then obviously he must feel there are some real dogs on the team. And you know Teague keeps it a buck, and he don't just be saying it.
Yep.
What time you gonna have him on your show?
8 o'clock.
That's Eastern time, right?
EST. Yes, sir.
EST.
Right. So, and let me before we move on to the next subject, you asked me, Law. I'm asking you and the OC. So y'all said y'all want to see after Arizona was we a Super Bowl D. So the game is over. What's y'all assessment?
Now this is my thing right here. Now, don't crucify me, Cowboy Nation. Don't shank me with the butter knife. But one, J-Rock owed me some push-up for dropping that interception.
That's real.
And I need somebody to take. I don't know if Sounds of the Sideline came out today. I need to know what they said. Number 2, those boys don't need to be crying about the damn flags and the whistles. They don't need to be talking about that.
That's
they
true.
Need to designate somebody else. I don't like that coming out of professional football players' mouths. They need to
I totally agree.
I totally agree.
Whoa!
I totally agree.
I don't
totally
like that.
disagree.
I
y'all
don't
disagree.
Yes,
I know that's
disagree.
boss. That's boss thing. I agree with you.
I'll let you.
And if we
go ahead with your case, though. I want to hear this case.
Let me jump in there, and you can finish it, Law. But I just want to say something about this, and I want to talk to you about this, boss. And because you've been making tweets about DeMarcus Lawrence, that's what a leader does. That's what a leader. You've been saying. I've been seeing
facts.
About
I've been on that,
and I've been staying quiet because I believe Michael Parsons the leader.
Yes,
I believe he the true leader. Because see, when I heard about that fumble and stuff, I seen Michael Parsons say, "Hey, we shouldn't have never let it get that far. It should have never come down to that. It should have never come down to that. That should not come down to that. We should have took care of it a little bit before that. So, no, I'm not going to talk about that. It is what it is. We got to get better, and we got to be better. Now, that to me is a leader. Somebody jumping up on their Twitter and Instagram page, taking pictures of you having a fumble, is that changing the outcome of the game? If you standing up and you the leader of the team and you 29, 30 years old and you saying we playing against 2 teams, to me that's the built-in self-excuse of saying, well, we really could have won, but it's the refs. I don't like that.
I don't like it, man. I don't like it.
I don't like that. I heard everybody's case. Can y'all hear mine? Or y'all, and I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Or y'all, go ahead, Law. Go ahead.
No. Well, what you said is, look, I cried all night long when primetime Deion Sanders PI'd Michael Irvin. I cried real tears, but you'll never get primetime to admit that he PI'd Michael Irvin. Now, Michael Irvin on the offensive side of the court, he flagged me or what have you. But nah, that's good defense. I want these boys to have the mindset to say to themselves, yeah, we got holes on that one, but we're going to come back with full strength. And I was younger at the time. You know what I'm saying? When I cried, Cowboy Nation. But boss, was you crying too? Was you mad?
Boy, I don't think I cried, but I was mad. I remember that.
What about you, James? Did you was mad, upset?
With what? I'm sorry.
The PI. The PI on Prime. I mean, on the Playmaker.
I cried because they're
You cried? Boy, you bought some G's.
Well, this is 94, baby.
This is 94.
I remember I was mad. I remember exactly where I was when it happened.
I was crying. I'm 22. I was crying like a must.
I was in Louisiana. I remember exactly where I was. Y'all want to hear my case now? And I want to ask y'all a question. Are y'all open to my case? Will y'all be at least open to my case?
As long as it ain't something crazy, boss.
It ain't crazy, bro.
Okay.
All right, here we go. This the case. Because, this guy, I don't know who he is, but I think he described your sentiments loud and big, and the OC. I hate to go against the whole final word, but I think I can do it. And I think y'all gonna hear me out. This guy said, I'm tired of hearing bitching about the refs. Honestly, they didn't do enough to win yesterday. And I understand the total sentiments. I get it from not using it as an excuse. But then I tried to think about it from really society, bro. And there's a factor that's going to cause a lot more scandals, y'all. The increase of gambling. And it's one of those things that I think there should be some pressure put on integrity with these refs and rules put in place based on us, basically, for lack of better words, bitching. I think we should be loud on things that affects the outcome, like the delay of game.
Shouldn't that be the owners, boss? Shouldn't that be the owners?
Yeah.
That should not be the players crying. That should be the owners stepping up, and because y'all got the money. Your owners got all that big money. See, the owners should jump out there and say, this is not right what these referees are doing, and y'all need to make changes, because they're the ones that have the power. They got the money. Players are always going to say something about a ref, and they don't never listen to a player what they say about a ref, and you know that, boss. We know that. We all play sports. They don't listen to players when it comes to refs, but they listen to people that got that big money.
Yeah.
They listen to them that got the money. So the people with the money need to make the changes. The players can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And when you start crying after the game is over, immediately after that, that takes away from your championship-ness D when you quick to cry about refs when you don't win.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not going to ever fight common sense, bro. I will stand back on that, because at the same time, when you to even kind of go with the case that you're making, you can already see how muddy this debate is because it came from players.
Right.
I feel you on that. I ain't gonna even fight. That's just real. Because if you go try to fight for this case, fight it where you can win. I'm with you, Big. I was just saying, I don't think refs should be treated bigger than a damn president. Because I'm honestly sick that every time somebody challenge refs, they like untouchable, like their ethics are just okay, like they can't be bribed to do some bull crap, like sometimes they don't have biases. Like, how the hell can we critique a president but we can't critique a damn ref? In my opinion. Well, but I do feel you, Big, on it got to come from the right sources, but I'm tired of being quiet on these bad calls.
Yeah. Well, Boss Cowboy, to your point, Boss Cowboy, if you had a committee, and this would have to come from the ownership, to Big Game James's point, you have to have a reviewable committee. So if it's a critical situation or inside of 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, then there's a committee that can overturn calls that are made on the field, right? You can do something like that if you want to ensure against gambling and point shaving, things that you're saying there. But here's my contention about this whole thing, is that if we reviewed every play of every game, we would probably see a ton of missed calls. So invariably, missed calls and bad calls are a part of the human element of football. It's a part of the game. There will be missed calls on both sides of the football for both teams. So invariably, one team has to make enough plays, correct plays, to win the football game. And that's where I agree with the tweet that you showed, is that we did not make enough plays to win the football game with respect to a bad call or a missed call. Because if we look at it, it's going to happen on every side. You have to play the game, and you have to make enough plays to win the game.
Yeah, and when you're talking about calls that are subjective, holding call, you can call that on every play. I get it. You can call PI call pretty much just like a touch foul on majority of the plays there. And our fan base, we're not joined together like other fan bases are. Case in point, I got an example. If anybody want to wait and listen. The Saints, they felt that they was hosed by the NFL by an incorrect call by the aficionados. The Saints joined together as a fan base, and they went up there to New York and they said, we're suing, we also doing this and that. And the very next year, they changed rules and made policies that affected the game in such a bad way that we got tired of watching, because they made all of the PI calls reviewable. They made it challengeable on PI calls and things beyond. On top of that, Cowboy Nation, it literally took 4 years for the NFL to admit Dez caught the ball. It took the Saints less than a season to change the whole ruling, because their fan base stuck together. Our fan base don't do that. We fickle. We shallow.
Yoga fire. Yoga flame.
3, 2, 1, drop it.
And remember,
So, because I know a lot of people wanted
nothing but the best. Let's go.
I know a lot of people wanted us to address that, and I'm gonna be honest. I think that was a fire-ass debate. I would take kinda a L on that one. I will. I think for the most part, yeah, kinda. I feel, like for real, it's not 100% L. It's not a whole L, but it's
it's like a 70 L.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say more so like a 20 L, bro. Like
no, it's an 85 L.
No, it ain't that high, bro. Because we both agree we want accountabilities for these refs, but we don't want it to come from players. I think you kind of killed that case, Big. I couldn't fight you. I just couldn't. Like, I would have been in pride to fight you on that. And it's like, nah, you right. It ain't making sense to come from players. It come across whiny. It's not go work. So why do it? I'm with you on that. Now, that's where I take my L. Where I say I kind of don't take the L is where I also agree to Law Point is when we come together and make noise about it from the fans. Somebody make noise about what we seeing. It can bring change. I am for accountability for those guys and punitive damages to those guys. Because if they don't feel like nothing go happen to them to make these type of calls, why would they be extra careful or take their job that much more serious? You know what I mean?
Well, see, that's what it goes to my point is why that the owners, if they came together and said, hey, this is affecting our team as well, you're costing us games. If the owners came in there because they got the money and said, y'all need to start doing something better, guess what? There will be change. You feel me? There will be immediate change.
Right.
Because them owners jump in there, it's going to cause, you will see rule changes the next year immediately. But they ain't doing it, and I don't want to just rely on a fan base because the fan base ain't got them deep pockets like them daggone billionaires.
Gotcha.
Right. But when they start talking about boycotting the Super Bowl, I don't know what New Orleans. They must have.
They
some
say
special
all that, but I want to see
voodoo.
that.
Now they want to have the special voodoo. They were saying boycott this, and the NFL kind of bent to them. I don't know why, but. You know, it just happened,
I think they voice matter, bro. I think it was what you said. I think everybody stuck together and it got the change done. I'm just saying I don't want to be so let's stop using the refs as an excuse to where we take the pressure off of them. That's my point. Like, I want pressure on them damn refs.
Look, this is what we can help. It's the year 2022. Fumbles, turnovers, that should be something that's automatically reviewed by just clear eyes. That shouldn't be a subjective call. First downs, we shouldn't be moving the chain out there. That should be a laser beam that's inside the football or something like that.
I like that.
You know,
see,
they got a tracking device on my iPhone. I can just go in my history and it can tell me everywhere I've been to the millimeter. You know what I'm saying? I know they got that for the NFL.
Yeah, you could put a buzzer on the time clock. Instead of eyeballing it, it's 0. Throw the flag. I mean, the NBA already got a buzzer clock.
Now that's true.
That's what I'm saying. We shouldn't just sit back like, oh, don't say nothing. It's nothing we can do about this. No, it's law gave some real solutions. That's what I'm talking about. Laser beams, chips, buzzer clocks, different stuff like that can make the game more equitable and take it out the hands of human judgment.
Yep.
So anyway.
Now look.
Go ahead.
You know we got a couple more subjects to deal with.
No, we done with that. This is the last subject.
I'm ready.
Solutions.
No, we got two. We got two.
Okay, go ahead. What you got? Go.
We got two.
Go.
We can't run from this now.
I want to hear this,
not
Doc.
Gonna allow it. Well, here's the first one. This is gonna be quick. Kelvin Joseph need to start.
Ooh.
I said it last week when he started against the Washington football team. Because number one, you drafted him in the second round to start. It's not like he's been on broken legs, broke foot, and he ain't been on the field. Okay, he had a normal training camp like everybody else. He got behind the 8-ball with the injuries, but he's been on special teams and aggressive special teams. So we were like, it's going to be a wash because Anthony Brown's playing so good and Jordan Lewis is playing, having a very good year as well. But we know they are still Jordan Lewis and Anthony Brown. No hate, they're playing good football, but they are still Anthony Brown. Understand? So if you have a pretty good game against the Washington football team, and then you say, well, go back to the bench because we're not ready for you to get the time. Why? Because you need that athletic ability. I know we all watched that tape against Washington. We saw coverage. Right. We saw good coverage. We saw that hips turning. Boss, you was a corner in college.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you didn't like what you saw from Boss, the way he was covering and trailing in the natural instincts by the way he was playing. So if that's the case, you saw Anthony Brown as well play very well in that slot against the Washington football team. So Jordan Lewis has already been a person who was a backup. Now, are we going to start getting worried and tenderhearted about people's feelings? Is that why we can't play people? Is that what we're going to do now? Because we wasn't tenderhearted when we was pulling Connor Williams and Connor McGovern and moving Laydell Collins and Terrence Steele. We wasn't tenderhearted. We said we got to get out there and win the daggone game. So what I'm saying is put Boss Man or that Kelvin Joseph out there because you need the athletic ability. You're playing the Eagles, who they're saying, oh, we got COVID or starters out. Well, then that's even more opportunity for you to start him, slide Brown in the slot, and bring Jordan Lewis off the bench. Can't be sitting there crying and feeling like, oh, we feeling sorry. No, you need that added element on the field in this playoffs. You do. And if you watch how he came in, which he came in after there was some giving up of plays. You saw Kelvin Joseph come in. After there was some giving up of plays, Kelvin Joseph caved in, right?
Yes.
Now, the first play, the receiver caught it, but they gave him too much cushion. I don't know if that was Kelvin Joseph or the defense. But after that, that boy was hella aggressive. It was a third down play where he stopped that play on the coverage and stopped them, and they had the punter either kick the field goal because he stopped them on that coverage. You can see it. He needs to play, dog. He needs to play now.
Well, I want to say as a corner, I love your aggression on this idea. And I really feel like you should, because none of us tripped on Diggs taking his learning curve lumps.
Right.
And we got the benefit of year 2 Diggs because we at least got year 1 Diggs.
Right.
So I all the way stand with Big Game James on this idea. And see, we also know how Twitter works. Man, this boy Twitter is going on fire on this idea because this means that the nation is feeling what he's saying. You know what I mean? This dude got 779 likes on this simple quote because people saw what you saw, Big. I 100% stand with you. What's y'all thoughts on it, Law and the OC?
Well, Big Game, man, when you talk to George Teague tomorrow, mention that because George Teague gave us an honest answer about Trayvon Diggs. He said that Diggs plays well, but also Diggs kind of, need to get some works of techniques together. And I said, dang, that's good. That's good. But he also lamented the fact that also Diggs challenged him because he said that Diggs also want to improve himself. So that's the second-year corner. I don't want next year. Of course, we only got one more game this year, but I don't want all of next year. We still not figuring out Kelvin Joseph. I want Kelvin Joseph out there to get every beat of snap against the Eagles because, that is a quote-unquote playoff caliber team, although they're going to be resting a lot of people, but at least you're getting your reps in and you're getting your feet up under you so that if your number is called when the playoff hit, you already will be ready instead of being cold.
Yeah, so Kelvin Joseph is just a real explosive, quick twitch, speedy corner, physical. I mean, it's nothing that I didn't like about his game, especially looking at Washington. I even like that he starts fights on special teams. I love it. He trying to get in the action. He's about that life. He got an attitude, man, and that's what you need. That when you talk about dog, he's doggish. That's what you need out there. And I think that, you know, with the extension of Anthony Brown and paying him 3 years around $15 million, you know, that's not really starting caliber money, but it's enough money to be like, we go rotate you, we can play you in the nickel or dime package when Kelvin Joseph takes over your starting position, which is what I think is going to happen in the offseason. I don't see any problem with starting a young man right now. And I'm going to go out here and say something on what I see. On what I think I see about him. I think that next year he will take some lumps. He's going to make some plays. He's going to make some really great plays, and he's going to have some bad plays because next year will be like his rookie season. But I'm going to say something. I see potentially in him a Darrelle Revis type corner, man, in terms of skill set, physicality, and what he's going to end up being. I think this kid is a Darrelle Revis reincarnation. But
that's what I said too.
That's what I see, man.
I feel you with that. I said it the other day, and just to bounce off of this, what Law said with George Teague. I had George on my show when Trevin Diggs was coming out of college. Me and George had the show, and we both talked about, because this is what I said, because hey, we seen George play at a high level, right? So I'm asking him to school me, but I'm not scared of George. He know that I love George.
Oh yeah, George.
I'm like, George,
hold on,
me.
Big. Let me cut you off for 1 second.
All right.
Big is not lying. Big would be cool with the president and challenge him, bro. Big is the craziest dude I ever met. I ain't gonna never forget. Everson Walls was on the show, and you did not agree publicly that, and you said it to his face. You said, "Sir, I admire you. I think you're a legend, but you wrong." Listen, that's why I rocks with my boy Big Game James. But go ahead, bro.
So we talking. I'm talking with Teague, and I'm like, okay, all right, you know this better than me. But I'm looking at Diggs, and when we saw in college, I don't know, and boss, I know you've seen this too, that he wouldn't get his hands on receivers, and he was relying on that ability because he was always trying to get that daggone interception.
He would trail a lot. He would
trail a lot.
Yep.
Because he wouldn't get his hands on them receivers, and they would beat him off the line of scrimmage. And if it was somebody really fast, they would get past him.
Every time.
Was trailing a lot.
Yep.
And
that was his college tape.
George Teague, we were both talking. He said, I agree with you, Big. I don't like that. He needs to get that together because he's going into the NFL. They're going to challenge that. You get what I'm saying? And they're doing it. If you look at it, everybody gets mad because you say Trevin Diggs got nobody's saying that dude ain't the league, got 11 interceptions, but he has to get better technically to be a complete corner. Because these teams are looking at him like he likes to gamble. He likes to gamble. He wants the interception all the time. And I said this right quick, and I ain't trying to talk up long, but it's just what I'm feeling
Take
right
your
now.
time, bro.
On that play with AJ Green, old ass AJ Green got him on that double move. This is what I said. That's some good scouting because they know Diggs trying to get that interception. But also, how about we didn't know that Diggs may have been like, I want that record. I want that record. I want that record. So as soon as they seen that 3rd and 9, they said he gonna jump this route. That's them studying Diggs. That's them studying
Boy,
him.
You preaching.
So that 3rd and 9, they came with that double move because they knew he was gonna try to jump it. And he did. He went for it because he was trying to look, and he got beat. So it ain't no disrespect for Diggs. It's just these teams are looking like, hey, he's over aggressive. He's always going to try to get the ball so we can get some plays on him. And just to finish it off, what you were saying, OC, that's why I was looking at Kelvin Joseph and watching him. I'm like, feeling you like Revis. I said it on my show. I said, this dude, I didn't say he was Darrelle Revis, but when I look at the body type, when I look at the structure of what Darrelle Revis looked like, and then I look at the structure of Kelvin Joseph, but like you said, OC, Kelvin Joseph is more athletic than Darrelle Revis. So if you got that athletic ability and he looks like you're not going to catch balls on me. Maybe I don't get 10 interceptions a year, but Darrelle Revis still has the record for most pass defenses in 1 year with 31. That's where I see Kelvin Joseph doing, and I think that's where he's going to be really good at is he's going to be knocking that ball down. Every time you try to go that route, it's going to be a very hard way to get that ball to your receiver with Kelvin Joseph on you. And I feel like those two are going to be a great combination because you got a playmaking corner over here and you got a shutdown guy right over here. I think it ebbs and flows together.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yoga flame.
You already know.
Yoga fire. Yoga
Now we need
flame.
to talk about Dak and end this. We need to
Hold on.
Before you talk about
That boy say Dak can end this. No, we got to talk about one more thing after Dak. I'm cool with that, though. Let's go with Dak.
Okay.
Let's go. You are first. You said Dak. Let's go.
Okay, I mean, I'm going to just keep it real. Y'all know, I mean, we all know what this is with Dak. How many people just dog our quarterback, so this ain't even about that. But let's keep it real, dog, in this game. In this Arizona game, we all watched tape. We all watched the tape. Dak's got to get better, folks. He got to get better. He's got to make these throws in this game. I counted about at least 4 opportunities where these were throws that and we're going to get big money yards, and he was throwing it and checking down. 2 plays I can bring up right now. When we got the first down on a run with Ezekiel Elliott, and then he got it taken back, and it was 1st and 17. They had 2 consecutive plays. He went over the middle to Cedric Wilson, right? He immediately, as soon as the ball went there, he immediately went to him, didn't even look. Tony Pollard was all the way down at the bottom of the screen by himself, just all by himself. Now, it just seems like, to me, in my opinion, because there was 2 plays, when you remember when OC said Amari Cooper's always open, there were 2 plays when we were driving on that missed field goal with Greg Zuerlein. There was a 3rd and 9. If Dak completes that, we probably walking it in for a touchdown. You feel me? After that, he didn't score. He's not going to score a touchdown, but that's continuing to move the ball. He missed him. He was wide open. And there was another play. Amari Cooper, he was out in the he came out on the flat, and Dak overthrew him. Remember, he had to jump real high in the air, and we're like, what happened with that? And then there was another route.
Yeah.
I believe it was I think it was a dig route. Amari had it was pretty much, I think, single coverage across the board. Amari was in the slot. He beat his man. You know, Amari hits him with the fake and came on the inside. It was right there. He had his man beat. That was the matchup. Dak missed him. You feel me?
Was that a bat down?
And
was that the bat down one?
no, that's the one where it was one-on-one coverage, and Dak threw it behind him. Remember when Amari kind of had to jump from back, and he threw it behind him, and it was over the middle? Dak missed him on that, and Amari was open. Now, it was going to be a tight window throw, but it definitely could be made, okay? And there was a couple plays. Dalton Schultz over the top, open, and Dak is checking down automatically. He's automatically looking to drop it down to Ezekiel Elliott for the short pass. Other guys are open. There was a couple plays, CeeDee Lamb open. Big money throw. Remember we talked about this, Law? A couple big money throws, but you got to throw them. It's there. But it's a big money throw, but you're getting paid big money. I ain't talking about the pockets, but you're the franchise. You got to make those plays, because if you leave those plays on the field, that's putting the defense behind the 8 ball and then not scoring points. And then it becomes, I mean, those drives that we did, it was 10-play drive, 14-play drive to come with no points. That's not good. But the quarterback, he's got to make these throws that are there for him to make. He can't be holding on to the ball saying, I don't want to make the mistake. He's got to say, I'm going to go ahead and take this ball all the way down the field so we can score. And sometimes I'm not seeing it, in my opinion.
I got no rebuttal to that, but I can tell you this thing about Dak Prescott. He's not going to do it. He's going to take the underneath. He's not the quarterback that's going to throw the ball when you got quarters or when you have 2 over the top. He's going to take the underneath. 9 times out of 10, he will throw the 7 route. If he sees one-on-one to the outside, he will do that. Dak Prescott, primarily, all the way up into I believe that Denver game, team's been playing Dak Prescott to stop the run and force Dak Prescott to make the throw when it's one-on-one to the outside. They used to play single high coverage look, load the box, stop the run, make Dak Prescott beat them with the arm, or they used to send blitzes. They switched it and they said, we're no longer going to blitz Dak Prescott. We're going to keep 2 safeties high, and we're going to compress everything and give him that umbrella look. Now, what the Cowboys need to do in this situation is to go back to running the ball. That's what it is. That's Dak Prescott game. He is a guy that live off play actions, and he is a guy that's, I guess he's a victim of his own habits, believe it or not. He want to make the safe and secure throw. And what we see is sometimes, and don't crucify me, Cowboy Nation, and don't shank me with the butter knife. These are just what I'm observing from my standpoint. In the fourth quarter, sometimes what Dak would do is say, hey, let's hurry up. We caught them with their pants down. Let me hurry up and get this ball out. I'm seeing the weaknesses right now. We can kill him with the underneath. We can kill him with the 7 route. You know what I'm saying? Do you guys get what I'm saying? Am I on the same page with you guys with that? Because they do the disguise look, and they said, okay, they bring him down inside. They bring the safety down inside, and then they bail back out at the last minute.
I mean, that's what Buda Baker said. That's what Buda Baker said they were doing, was they were going to play more coverage. And I mean, if you listen to what is it Fangio from the Broncos?
Right.
The coach, but he was a defensive coordinator, right? But what he was saying was, we're going to make Dak beat us. We're going to drop in coverage, and we're going to make him throw those throws. Now, y'all both know. Y'all play the game. There's going to be those windows in that zone, right? There's going to be those windows, but you got to, when that receiver, it's got to be timing. So you can't hold that ball. And what I think is happening is those throws are there, right there, but it's a big money throw. And I feel like he's gun shy, don't want to throw it to make that mistake. So he's dropping it down, and it's holding down the offense because, like I said, there was one play also, Law, where you remember where Ezekiel Elliott, he threw it out to Ezekiel Elliott in the flat, and Ezekiel Elliott dropped the ball out in the flat.
Right.
Dalton Schultz was on the inside, and so was Cedric Wilson. The Cardinals were sitting there watching that. They hiked the ball. Cedric Wilson went straight over to the middle, and the corner jumped the route because you know how they've been going to Cedric Wilson over the middle, so the corner automatically jumped the route. Dalton Schultz goes right past him. That was a 25-yard gain if he hits Dalton Schultz because the safety was deep. So there was the throw right there. But Dak automatically turned and went right to Ezekiel Elliott and didn't even scan it. And I think I've seen that too many times in that game where he would automatically turn around and stare the receiver down. There was 3 or 4 batted balls in that game, and he was staring right at it, and the guys just put their hands up. So,
but and this is what I want people to understand too, Big Game James. That's not Dak Prescott being trashed, but that's just his level of skill set. You got some shooters. I'm just gonna go to basketball. You got some shooters that are set shooters, and you got some shooters that need space. You know, you got some players that slashers, and you got some guys that big body and like to get down low and then score that way. I think that the scheme that the Cowboys are running, teams are inviting, saying, run the ball on me. They're playing zone coverage. They dropping everybody back. It's in pass defense. They're using pass defense to stop the run. They are saying, okay, Dak, we took away one of your best weapons, and that is reading the field with blitzes, and we took away the deep ball from you. And we giving you the underneath. And only time you can get the deep ball unless you squeeze it. And we want you to beat us this way because we are not in fear. We are not in fear of Ezekiel Elliott. They may be a little bit with Tony Pollard, but there's no shade at Ezekiel, Cowboy Nation. But they are saying that we trust what we see on tape, knowing that the Cowboys would not take advantage of the underneath runs. They would not take advantage of running to the outside. So that's why when you go back and look at the Cards, tackle leaders, it was Buda Baker. It was also the Isaiah Simmons. Those light body guys. That's why I said, man, you pull Collins, man. You pull number 70, and you put a body on those boys. Get them up out of that look. If you think I'm lying, Boss Cowboy, you know. The OC, you know, they're going to get out of that shell. They're going to get out of that cover two, that shell look. If you running the ball accurately or you running the ball with power, they're going to have to say, they're going to start tapping the helmet. Coach, get me up out of here. I'm 192 pounds. You got this dude, 310, knocking me over.
Let me step in on what I think I see on Dak. I want to first start off with saying Dak look way out of rhythm. Dak made some flat out bad throws. I think also this has come from a lot of stuff that culminated to a super bad game. Number one, honestly, credit to the Arizona Cardinals coordinator.
Big facts.
Because they was confusing Dak. Because I think this goes back to what we started the whole show with. Okay? We started the show with this dude talking about Kellen Moore. Yeah. We started it with this dude talking about Kellen Moore, where you think your system is sexy, but your system is actually figured out, you know? And have y'all ever seen Dak looking that confused and audibling that much? That's a shout out to the defense.
He was audibling, especially that one play. I don't know if y'all saw it, not to cut you off, boss. He audible seemed like 4 times at the line of scrimmage. I'm like,
right,
come on, man.
Because see, that's to me big. That's going to breast man system. Just being all the way honest, where we think our system is so sexy, we got a young OC that's been figured out.
And them plays ain't working because
there
are plays.
Yeah,
there are plays when you see them. Like there was a one. I think Dak got the. Remember when Dak got the first down running? It was like 3rd and 11. It was like a short one, and then he got it, and we had the penalty. And it was like 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20 on our own, like 5 or 6 yard line. So they go drop in the zone. Dak rolls out. You got 2 receivers right next to each other, and you got 4 Cardinals right there.
Confused.
On the opposite side of the field, CD is guarded by the corner and the safety. I'm like, where did you? That was a lost play because there was nobody open from the very beginning. So why is that play being run when that's not a play that's not even going to work? They are watching it. And just like you said, I think one of you guys said how, remember how Linehan used to do them short routes?
Yep.
Them comebacks?
Yep.
Bro,
I said
Cardinals sat on them short routes all damn game.
Yep.
They were sitting on them comebacks. And it was like sometimes when Dak was I don't know if he was audible into the right play because there was, oh my gosh, there was one play where CD had a touchdown, and if he would have kept going on the seam, he had it, and he does a comeback. I'm like, oh my God! All 3 of the receivers did comeback routes, and all the Cardinals defenders were sitting right there.
You gotta run them up out of that damn zone, man. I'm sorry, Cowboy Nation, for me cussing, but that's what you gotta do. You gotta run it. You gotta run it, man. You can't just look. Your quarterback. That's not what your quarterback do. There's limitations to this thing, and there's nothing wrong. Not all cars are V8s. Some cars are V6. And I'm not saying that Dak Prescott is a 4-cylinder. No, he's not that. But he's not the V8. He's the V6. And I know somebody's gonna look at it. Well, you paid the man $75 million. Well, also you paid Ezekiel Elliott $90 million something. So you got to figure out a way. And you paid your right tackle. You paid your left tackle, and you paid your guard, your right guard. So you got to utilize your strength, and those guys should be able to give you a little space to run it to get them up out of that umbrella look. That's all I'm saying.
I think it's this right here, what Tony just said. Tony said Dak is playing a yes man game. I agree, bro. I agree. I think that's what's going on. I think he's so dependent. Because look, somebody somewhere is not thinking good, bro. Dak and Kellen. Because remember, it was backup corners.
Yeah.
Backup corners
and
that
CD
didn't get tested.
You feel me?
See, that's somebody overthinking somewhere. And it goes back to this. In my opinion, y'all, we talked about it earlier. Where Dak, remember, was like, just run it, bro. That's true. That's why I feel this coming. Where you say Dak is playing that yes man. He has a tendency to not push back on the system like Romo would. Romo would send a dumb play back so fast. And Romo would say quick, oh, in this go-to moment, I know the play says this, but it's 4th and 1, and I'm throwing to this.
But let me say this though, Romo. What do you consider Romo's greatest year?
2014 for sure.
When he had that
How
run
many
game.
times he threw for 300 yards in 2014?
Oh, he hardly. They put it on the ground, and I'm with you, Law. I agree with you.
It was a better
I was just talking about like what's gonna fix Dak. I think you gotta attack your athletes, bro. You gotta send them dumb plays back to Kellen, just like Romo used to send them dumb plays back to Scott Linehan. Bye. I ain't doing that.
I feel you though, boss. But this is what my thing about it is. I feel you what you say 100%, boss. But to me, Dak has still got to make these big throws.
I'm with you too.
He's got.
And he played bad too. I'm with you on that.
Because when it comes to these playoffs, OC, you feel me?
Yeah.
When it comes to these playoffs,
you got to make the play.
These playoffs, that if they've been sitting out there feeling like these teams feeling like they got a blueprint now. They feeling like they got a blueprint.
They go attack us the same way.
They're gonna attack us the same way until it stops.
Facts.
Until Dallas can say we're gonna beat you this way. They're gonna stay in it, and we're gonna keep doing it until you show us you can beat us this way.
No doubt, no doubt. Boss, do me a huge favor, man. Let me know if you can pull it up. I DM you it on Twitter.
All right.
Let me know. I know.
Stall for me. Give me a second. Stall for me.
Yeah, but hey, go ahead, OC.
No, go ahead, brother. You got it. Well, listen, just real quick, man. You guys said just a lot of fire content, and to your point earlier, to build upon it, which I think that a lot of people lose sight of. When Dak Prescott took over this team, it was built on play action pass and a heavy dose of Ezekiel Elliott. Okay, since Kellen Moore has taken over, that has not been the case. Dak Prescott plays his best when he throws between 32 and 38 passes a game. He's shown he's good enough to throw 40 to 50 passes a game, but that's not really the sweet spot for his performance being at peak and him being very effective. It's based upon us being able to run for first downs and him play action passing. But also, here's the thing that Kellen Moore and I believe all of them need to get on the same page about. When we are facing people and we're facing nickel and dime cornerbacks, and you got CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper in the slot, or you got Cedric Wilson in the slot, he's a good third wide receiver. Why don't we attack these guys? And we did it for one series versus Arizona, and we moved the ball right down the field in about 4 or 5 plays, and we did not come back to it. So that's the whole issue that I'm contending with. And then the last thing is this. Dak Prescott has to play with more confidence. Beyond the potential missed throws, beyond the thing with the play calling, beyond all that, the thing that I don't like the most is when I see Dak Prescott see a very, very soft, deep cover 2, and they're giving you 10 yards of green grass.
Yes.
And you pat the ball, you hesitate, you turn and spin, you don't want to run it. And I need you at this point in juncture, man, to forget about the past, forget about your injury, believe in yourself, man. When you see it part like the Red Sea, tuck and run. Be smart about it. Tuck and run. Take the 10 yards. Get your butt down. That's all you got to do. Tuck and run. Get your butt down. And have the confidence to make the obvious play. And that's my biggest thing with Dak Prescott right now.
Law, I got it. Give me about 1 more minute.
Yeah. To the 26-minute mark on that one.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
I got it right here. You say 26 mark?
Yeah, 26-minute mark.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Also, y'all, I did put this in the description. This is coming from...
Welcome into the Boys Collective episode.
I'm like, you know what?
Wesley's hands.
It's troubling. That's on the head. We're going to do
you
a show.
You say 26 minutes?
Yeah, the Chargers.
Yeah, 26 minutes of it.
You know who's getting the football regardless of scheme, game plan. They make sure that those guys are getting the football. Why doesn't this team, who has a $20 million wide receiver, take the same mentality and say, we need to get number 19 the football, because we know by getting him involved, that's going to open up a lot of things for this offense, including for CeeDee Lamb, obviously Michael Gallup, unfortunately, with the torn ACL, done for the year. But why doesn't this football team take that same mentality when it comes to this receiver on this team?
Because your play caller is a collector of plays. He doesn't.
I had no idea about this, Law. I'm glad you said
That's
bring
good
this up.
stuff.
That is good stuff, bro. Because see, what this is showing is everybody on the same page.
Woo!
Everybody on the same page, bro. I ain't never heard about this. Go ahead, Law. I'm glad you said bring this up. Let's get it.
He doesn't have a real scheme. He really doesn't. The more you dive into what he's doing, he collects plays. He takes from here, he takes from here, he takes from here, he takes from here. He doesn't have something that he can hang his hat on. We've talked about this before. If things are going bad, he has nothing he could say, okay, these 4 plays I'm going to run to get my offense going again. These are the things I'm going to do. I mean, when it gets tough, he puts it on his quarterback, and then his quarterback isn't always capable of making the play. The quarterback, if he sees somebody open, he makes a throw. He hasn't done a good job of the contested balls and stuff like that. They just haven't been good enough. They haven't been good enough throwing the football. And is it the blocking? Sure. Is it the play caller? Sure. Is it the quarterback's maybe lack of confidence or really, ability to throw it in there? Sure. I think it's all those things right now. But this guy, you as a play caller, he's got no way of scheming to get Cooper open or Lamb open if teams try and take things away where they make it muddy for Dak Prescott. The routes that they run against some of these coverages probably aren't good enough. Teams are taking it away. Like, okay, if you're gonna just do this, if you're gonna do this route combination, sure, we'll play with a robber in the middle of the field and we won't let you hit the crossing route. That's why guys like Dalton Schultz make a lot of plays. Because Dalton Schultz, when they have combinations, Dak's not sure about the combination. But, oh, look, Dalton Schultz is open over here. Boom, Dalton Schultz gets the ball. That's really what's going on here right now. And what's sad is you have all those offensive coaches in that room. Mm-hmm. Jerry likes to mention Ben McAdoo. Ben McAdoo's not even a full-time coach on the staff. But Jerry Jones on our station on 105.3 is mentioning him as a guy. Ben McAdoo, Doug Nussmeier, Mike McCarthy, Kellen Moore. Of the 3 guys I mentioned, Kellen Moore has had the least amount of experience calling plays of those 3 guys. But here we are, with an offense that at times
we don't have to play no more.
That's it.
I mean,
bro.
that's
hold on real quick, y'all. I got to tell everybody where they can find this clip. I got to be fair to the material where we got this from. Yeah, we got this from Boss 105.3 The Fan, Boss Collective, and they got they did real good about this. So we always want to be fair on want to find this content. But man, good job, Law. And we did this on the spot, man. Y'all give the final word a hand for pulling this off. For real.
Give a whole bunch of daggone fire emojis, man.
But I feel good. I do. You know why I feel good? Because you hearing a lot of us saying the same things. When you see Cowboy Nation speaking with one voice, stuff happen fast. You know what I mean? We are all together on Kellen Moore and his issue with his breasts. Just being all the way honest.
Don't show that picture again.
it's listen, because he think he's sexy, Law, he think he's sexy, man. He think this play calling is sexy. That's what he think.
You know what I said, boss? Hey, you know what I said, boss? That's so nasty. You know what I said, boss? That's so nasty. You know what I'm saying, boss? You know when you look at a picture like this is
Hey, but I picked that picture because it paint the illustration. Oh boy, think he really doing something.
Yeah, it was good right there. But here, I want to say one last thing on Kellen Moore. If you think, and I said this on my show, if you think you're going to go to Jacksonville, first of all, Jacksonville, you hired Kellen Moore, you're dumb. Second of all, Kellen Moore, they will eat you. I said they're going to throw you in a pit of water, and them sharks going to eat you alive. Please, be smart. Continue to try to grow over here in Dallas, because you'll probably never be hurt again if you go over to Jacksonville and they actually hire you. I don't believe anybody in that Jacksonville locker room, as far as the football players, are going to – you got to have a alpha mentality to be able to lead and people follow you.
Right.
I don't feel like you have that. I don't feel like you have that alpha leader mentality. You got blessed because Dallas grew you up and Scott Linehan brought you over, and Dallas allowed you to grow. And that's why people look at you and say, hey, we like Kellen Moore. We like Kellen Moore. But see, you leave this little comfort zone and go into where the Sharks are, and you're a head coach, they're going to eat you alive. They're going to spit you out. And I don't think we'll ever hear about you unless Dallas brings you back.
Hey, man, that boy Big go hard. So true, bro. Let's go do the final words.
Yes, sir. I'll start first. Today. Final word is this. Wow, listen to Brian Broaddus. That man always keeps it real.
He kept
you know
it
what I'm saying?
100 because I'm going off Brian too.
Man, I don't even know what to do the rest of this show now. Now I done heard all that shiznit. I'm messed up in my dome piece now because you know that man got super intel. He got super intel. So I'm like, okay, I'm sitting here. We gotta figure this out, folks. Like y'all gotta figure this out. Y'all got like a week to figure this out.
Gotta figure it out
because
Yoga
these
fire. Yoga
sitting there
flame.
like, we're not scared of you.
Yes.
Maybe you did that in the beginning of the season. We're not scared of you. We're gonna challenge you every single play. And the Cowboys have got to figure this out. Like Brian Broaddus said, y'all offensive people, Jesse Holly said, y'all better get in a room and lock yourselves in that room, just you guys, and figure it out. Because if this offense does not take that step, like we said, dog, I don't want to believe it. This is going to be a one and done.
Man, look, man, the Cowboys, man, got to decide, man, how fast they want to go on vacation. And here's the situation, man. This team has to come together and decide that we're going to match intensity and we're going to match focus. And sometimes a team has to overcome bad coaching. And I hate to say it, but offensively, we have to overcome a little bit of bad coaching and still have to execute by being physical and just beating people one-on-one. If the Cowboys are able to do that with a little bit of help with the commitment to run the ball at least 22 to 25 times a game, we can get first downs even if it's a low-scoring game. We can keep our defense off the field and not allow the other team to win the time of possession like they have in all of our losses. This defense will be competitive. I feel like if we tighten up a little bit on the ends and just a few discipline things, that we really can help shut teams down, right? And we may need to shut teams down defensively if the offense is going to play so up and down for us to win some playoff games on the road. Cowboy Nation, we got a chance to really go far. There's still hope, but we have to right the ship immediately, and we need to come out with a very intense football team this last game versus the Eagles, and we need some coaching, and we need more accountability by the coaching staff across the board for every player in that locker room not to make mistakes and to do their responsibilities come hell or high water. That's my final word.
All right. So appreciate it. And I got to give you
Yoga fire. Yoga flame.
All right. So, like I said, I do feel encouraged because a massive amount of Cowboy fans who's speaking on one accord. Okay.
Right.
I'm highlighting this chat because it's so funny because he say Okoye called Kellen Moore a beta.
Yeah. A lot of beta tendencies.
A beta. Okoye. A beta.
Dang. I remember them beta. Wow.
Ooh. Yeah.
So I'm gonna focus on all solutions on my final word. So if Kellen Moore is the beta, we need Dak to be the alpha.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
He gotta be the alpha.
Take over, dog.
He gotta take over. You can't be the company man. You can't be the person that's trying to keep everybody happy. You can't be everybody's friend right now. Dak, you might not ever have this opportunity again.
Yes.
This is the example that I was thinking about, Big Game James. I almost want to turn it back over to you. I'm gonna just keep talking. But this is the example I was thinking about. If you was leading a group of men to war, but you was second in command, and the guy that was responsible to keep y'all alive, he had a psychotic meltdown, and y'all in the foxhole, are you gonna just wait for him to get his mind back? Or do you just take over? Because you know if you don't, the men die. That's why Dak gotta be the alpha right now. He got to be the guy to say, I'm gonna target Cooper. I'm going to commit to the run if he doesn't. I'm gonna do it. Because this is not new. Aaron Rodgers, we all remember him having an issue with his coach about power. Y'all remember that? The last 2 years, right?
Yeah.
We saw Belichick go through this with Brady. We know Romo went through this with Scott and Jason Garrett. So there's already a president of quarterbacks that became the alphas to get it done. The original alpha was Peyton Manning. He was the first to fully take over an offense on the line of scrimmage. Fully take it over.
Hell, you remember John Elway and Dan Reeves? Back in the day, they was fighting too.
Right.
Power struggle.
Power struggle.
Take it, Dak. Take over.
You got to take over. Okoye Wright.
Yeah, I can't let y'all keep going. You got to mention 95 Troy.
Yeah, talk.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
say
talk. See, because I want to focus on solutions. You know what I mean?
Go ahead.
And so we got to have an alpha because we know we looking at beta tendencies with Kellen. All right. So that's one. I would also say we need to micromanage Kellen. We got to micromanage the guy. See, because Kellen thinking he's sexy right now, man. Kellen over.
Just nasty.
Kellen, what you doing, Doc? What you doing, bro? Kelly, you think this picture sexy? It is not sexy, my homie. That's what's going on. And we got to, bro. We got to micromanage him. See, one of the things that I heard Broaddus say that I heard real quick, it stood out to me real quick. He said, you got all them coaches in the room with experience. Woo! Y'all think I'm playing? He said, you got all them coaches in the room with experience, yet they leaning on a guy with the least amount of experience. So, are you gonna let this general go crazy and get all the men killed? Nah, I ain't saying fully take over play calling because Kellen Moore has some great days as well. But I think you gotta micromanage at this point. You gotta have a play sheet as he has a play sheet.
Facts.
Is that Jerry protecting him?
Oh, but see, we ain't gonna have no fight of words. I'm starting controversy right now. We ain't gonna have no fight.
I'm going to bed.
This is Jason Garrett 2.0.
Because I'm getting my boy Big going. Go ahead, Big. Go.
This is my favorite son. This is my favorite son.
I mean, I'm like, you protected, right? Because you just like he said. I called him Jason Garrett part two because I said this the day he came on, he was going to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, and they were going to bring him up the same way like Garrett. Because if you look how he came up like Garrett did, it's the same exact way. If you look at how it's happening the same exact way. Bringing over a hot offensive coordinator, he's the hot name. We're going to grow him in the program, just like Garrett. Garrett was young. Kellen is young. And it just seems like, and I said he would be the next head coach, and they were just grooming him. So if they were grooming him to be like that, then I'm feeling like he gonna be a little bit bulletproof. People ain't gonna be able to touch him. And if y'all just saying what you just said, boss, you got all these older guys who've been there and done that, and they're listening to a guy that don't have a plan, then that tells me Jerry's protecting him, and they have to listen to him.
That's exactly what it sounds like. But the OC he had. You had some OC? Because y'all still in my final word, but go ahead. If I got y'all going, go.
No, bro, I'm sorry, man. I don't want to cut you
No,
off, brother.
man, this is good because I'm getting y'all going. I like that.
This is the favorite son mentality, man. This is the favorite son culture. He was the only holdover. He was the guy that before they hired Mike McCarthy, hey, we want you. We want you over here, Mike. Now we know you're a championship coach, but we got this one guy here, now Kellen Moore. Now he has a lot of potential. This kid here can really be something. I think he has a great mind, and he will be just a fantastic complement to whatever you want to do and bringing in the rest of your coaches. So why don't we just think about, keeping him around? That's what happened. And Mike McCarthy said, okay, I'll take the 25 mil. Yeah, I'll keep him. Cool. That was the deal. That was the handshake deal. That's why he was the only coach that got held over. And that's why he's protected, and that's what's going on.
But see, OC, you raised a good point.
I said that too, OC. I agree with you 100% on that. That's why Kellen didn't go nowhere, because he said, you want this job, Kellen got to stay.
Y'all not stealing my final word no more, bro. That's
true.
Enough.
That's what he said, bro.
I know, but God dog it. This is supposed to be my final word, and both of my dogs done stole my final words. Law still waiting in the wings.
Over. I was supposed to be in bed.
I'm almost finished, bro. But I got you going. And when I got you going, I wasn't going to interrupt you, my brother.
I'm on Eastern.
I got you. I'm almost finished, though. But you raised a great point, OC, when you talked about that Mike McCarthy had the play call sheet versus the Washington football team. He needs to do the exact same thing. He needs to go in there. And I think he needs to have a data person upstairs that's watching the flow of the game, making sure Kellen is staying balanced, making sure he's committing to a particular flow, a particular commitment to the run game, to targeting certain people. He has to micromanage. That's all right. Number 4. That's my final word. Big dogs need to eat first. You got to go through Zeke and Cooper first. Number 5, you got to commit to running the ball. You got to. And I want you to do that early. I want you to get your offensive line in rhythm by running the ball first. I'm finna throw y'all a major curveball on my last 2.
Okay.
We need to bring back Kitna. That
ain't no curveball.
That's easy work.
Okay, I'm glad everybody in agreement.
But
I'm gonna move on.
That's easy work.
That's another situation where do we know, because we know John Kitna's fiery personality. John Kitna ain't the back down guy, right? And y'all talking about the yes man thing, right? I don't think John Kitna no yes man, dog, and that's why he probably was vacated, because I'm gonna tell you right now, that was a big mistake. Not letting him stay on the staff. When I saw that they didn't keep him, it frustrated with me, because I'm just sitting there and thinking in the back of my head, fellas, didn't Dak just come off having one of his best years mechanically, everything, and it's due to this guy Kitna? And guess what? I'm going to say one thing. You should have showed this video with John Kitna. I don't mean to, y'all making me mad because I'm still on here. I need to go to bed.
Man, I'm trying to have my final word.
I can't help but jump in, but go watch this video with John Kitna before he came on with Dallas. And he was talking about Mike Martz. And he was talking about Mike Martz and why he got better as a quarterback, because Mike Martz said, hey, if there's double coverage, I don't give a hell. I called this play, throw the damn ball.
Throw it into that direction.
Worry about the press conference. That's for me to worry about. I said throw the ball. And he said once his coach gave him the confidence to say, don't worry about making a mistake, he was throwing it. What was Dak doing? Slinging it everywhere, because probably Kitna was telling him, don't worry about making a mistake. Just go out there and make the play. Now, we don't have that quarterback's coach to say that. And now is Dak getting gun shy again because he doesn't have that coach to say, go wing that joker. That's my
the main reason. I'm over here saying that Dak still do reach out and they still work together on some things. And
it ain't nothing like being on the staff every day, though.
Yeah. Now that's true.
Because mechanically, Dak's. This is the main reason I want to bring him back.
Shout out to you, J Farm D.
The main reason I want to bring him back is because when Dak is out of rhythm, his mechanics get out of rhythm.
You think?
And I was talking to Jay Tuck today. Jay Tuck raised a great point. He said Dak need an ex-quarterback beside him. And Kidner is both a coach and ex-quarterback. You need a guy with wisdom eyes. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah. And lastly, we still got to get aggressive on kicker. That's my final word. Everything that I talked about are the things that I would want us to aggressively do to get prepared for the playoffs, to make a real run. That's my final word.
No doubt, man. That's wonderful final words for all of y'all fellas, man. Now, there's two folds to this thing, and hopefully it's the good part of it, of being this way, that Kellen Moore is just sandbagging everybody, you know. I hope that that's the case in the scenario, because Kellen Moore offense, respectfully, all through this season, he was ranked number 1 and number 2. Now, what we're seeing now, the flaws and everybody catching up with him, is because with the lack of run. If this team can run the rock, I believe some things can open up. I believe that Dak Prescott can go through his progressions a little bit easier, and he can go through his reads and make the completed throw. Now, my problem is of course, with the musical chairs on the latter part of the season with the offensive line and Tyron Smith first game back. Let's be 100. Tyron Smith didn't have his best game last game, right? Dak Prescott had the happy dance feet. I mean, he was tap dancing like the late, great Gregory Hines out there, and he was trying to get away. But I come here to tell you that Dak Prescott got to get comfortable, because this team go as far as Dak Prescott can carry them. And I know I'm going to hear a bevy of people saying, hey, Dak Prescott, if you depended on him to carry you. It's like that Honda Civic, that 6-cylinder Honda Civic trying to pull a wagon up the hill is going to struggle. It's going to shake, and some things are going to break. And that's not what we want, Law. Well, like I said, we did pay a lot of money to Ezekiel Elliott. Like I said, we did pay a lot of money to La'el Collins. Like I said, we did pay a lot of money to Zach Martin. So they're going to have to crunch their heads together and get out of the you-know-what and get things going. Now, the latter part of this is be on the other fold. If this is what Kellen Moore is, oh my goodness, we can't wait for him to develop. We've been waiting for 25 to 26 years for this team to do something. And Kellen Moore, if he can't develop a game plan to run the rock, oh my goodness, we're in trouble. Like Big Game James said, you don't want to go up there in the frozen tundra, whatever it is in Green Bay, when it's cold. And especially if we can't beat the Cards when they come back here in 2 weeks or what have you, it's going to be trouble, because nobody's going to let that go, because everything is still going to fall on the head of Dak Prescott. They're going to say, hey, what about the $75 million? So this team got to get out of the you-know-what and get this thing going the best way possible.
That's coming,
Yo,
bro.
It's coming, baby.
Dog. It's coming. It's coming. Like, it's coming, dog. Like that. I don't even want to deal with that, man. I feel bad how Dak have to deal with it. We sitting back like, please no, because like you said, Law, that's gonna be the first thing that come out of their mouth. See, you shouldn't have paid him that money. Told you wasn't a franchise quarterback.
Yeah. He can't.
But you got to run the rock, man. I seen the Kansas City Chiefs won a Super Bowl, and it wasn't for the arm of Pat Mahomes. It was for the legs of the Williams brother. I've seen I'm going all the way back. The Broncos. People talking about John Elway, Big Game James. You saw when John
Elway
got
win a Super Bowl until they got Terrell Davis.
Yeah, till they got Terrell Davis.
How many times did they get bounced out?
Bus against Washington. Yup. Oh, let me go a little further. Brett Favre, one of the better throwers of the ball. They didn't do nothing until they got Dorsey Levin. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. You got to run the ball. And we don't know what Troy Aikman would have looked like without Emmett.
We do know. He didn't win no games without Emmett.
We saw. He
got He didn't win no games without Emmett. For real. So we already know.
Yeah, that's all I have for the final word. Get it together, Cowboys, man. We're gonna whoop up on those Eagles, and then we're gonna take that momentum. And then we're going to take it to the playoff and slap somebody, right? Let's go get it.
Man, that was the final word, man. And y'all go see us, man. We ain't going nowhere.
Bring it.
Nah, we gonna end with this one. Let's do this one. We gonna end with this one. This the one. This is the one you end the show with, man. Yeah, man. All right. Cause we still go run it up.
Run it up.
We still go run it up. I ain't quit.
Nah, ain't nobody quit over here.
I've been really in the field, let her rush, I love
we finna run it up, man.
I just wanna run it up.
I ain't quit on this Cowboys. We had an ugly bump. We slapping up Kellen right now. We getting you right, man. We getting you right, Kellen.
Kinda check the song. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Yeah, we getting Kellen right. That's all. This Kellen need a little spanking. The Cowboy community getting you right. Target your guys, man. Target your dogs. Man, if he's sandbagging, hey, if he's sandbagging law, he is genius. But I don't believe it. I don't believe it. They give up the second seed.
You just rock what's on the shelf and I'm not feeling it. Search for the one, but baby girl, it's nothing real with this. Can't trust a soul, I keep a hand when calling to the gym. I've been really in the field, let her rush, I love